Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the MMI Turret Marine Chronograph version 2. The price for this watch is currently $399, at least for the next couple days here. On the 15th of May, the price will increase to $469. Actually, I think that it'll increase on the 16th. The 15th is the last day of the pre-order price. So this is the ice blue dial, which unfortunately is currently sold out. You can still get the Bismarck yellow dial, and they both have full lume dials. So we have a double domed sapphire crystal with AR coating applied to the underside. We have a ceramic rotating lumed bezel. So this would be called a dive bezel, or considered a dive bezel, even though it's not necessarily a dive watch. So 120 click, unidirectional. Again, that's ceramic. And the case is 316L stainless steel with a mix of brushed and polished surfaces, which you can see here. It's mostly brushed, and we have these polished chamfered edges on the outside and then the inside of the lug here. Okay, taking an up-close look at the dial here, you can see we have applied indices. We have 3 subdials. Top subdial is your minute counter for the chronograph. The bottom subdial is your running seconds, and then the left subdial here is the hours for the chronograph. So let's unscrew these crowns here, top and bottom. We'll get the chronograph running as we're looking at the dial here. So top pusher is start and stop. So the second hand has started to go around the dial here. And speaking about going around the dial, you can see we have this roto date wheel functionality here. Very neat. I don't know, no, Oris has something kind of similar, but Oris has a pointer date. So they have a hand that points to the date. This one here has a date wheel below the dial that shows you what the date is. So it's pretty neat, very neat. And it gives it a different look for sure. And you can see the dial is a little bit different, kind of a shade of blue. That chapter ring, I would imagine, is probably anodized aluminum with the tachymeter scale. And then, as I mentioned, this is a full lume dial. We'll check out the lume here in a minute. But very cool looking watch. Okay, now watch up here, that minute hand. Looks like it might have already moved over, but that should tick over here. Okay, so the chronograph will be 1 minute and now 5 seconds right there. So we'll stop that and we'll reset. And you've noticed here the second hand was ticking around. So this is a mecha quartz movement. It is powered with a battery, 3 years battery life, plus or minus 20 seconds. It is the Seiko VK67A mecha quartz movement. And let me reset it here, and you'll see the second hand will snap back. So it acts like a mechanical movement, but it's actually a quartz movement. So very neat. All right, let's screw these back down. And what that's for is so you don't accidentally activate the chronograph. And it also ensures your water resistance. Like if you were to dive with this, you could screw these down and you wouldn't activate the pushers. Because if you activate the pushers when you're underwater, it can sacrifice or decrease the water resistance. Okay, let's zoom out here a bit. So the lume, we have C3X1 lume and the bezel, and I believe some of the indices in here are with the handset. It's a mixture of C3X1 and BGW9 lume. Also the dial as well is lumed, so we'll see all that here in a moment. Full lume dials are very cool looking, but I prefer just the indices to be lumed. It's a little easier for me to see the time that way in the night. I should have mentioned yet, but we do have a screw down signed lumed crown. That watch is rated to 100 meters water resistance. You look at the case back here, we have some engraving, some information. So, 100 meter VK67 sapphire crystal 316L stainless steel, and these are numbered. So there's 88 of these available. Shouldn't move the watch. Turret Chronograph V2 100 meter. So that's all the information in the case back there. Since we're back here, you can see we do have quick release pins, solid end links, solid links. They are held in place with screw pins. And I have a 6.5 inch wrist, and I have basically one removable link left. So keep that in mind. If you have a wrist my size, you could technically go down to, I would say, even 6 1/4. And I'm on the second tightest micro adjust here. The clasp is stamped. We have a safety clasp as well. So nice and secure. And we have 5 micro adjust here. So let's talk about the dimensions, and then I'll get this watch on wrist. Zoom back out here a little bit. So lug to lug, 47 millimeter. Bezel diameter is 40, and the bezel is flush with the case. So I'll call the case 40 millimeter diameter as well. 14.2 thick to the top of this domed crystal. I believe they have it at 12.8 on the website. That may not consider the height of the crystal, but I measured it from top to bottom, and 14.2 thick. 20 millimeter lug width, and this bracelet does taper down to 20 millimeter. So 7 millimeter signed screw down loomed crown, and size for my 6.5 inch wrist. This watch weighs in at 153 grams. So let's look at it compared to my SKX here. The SKX has about a 42 millimeter case, but the bezel is about 41. So just to give you a size reference. And actually this chronograph is a little bit thicker. A little bit thicker than the SKX as well. Slab-sided case too, so it does also look thicker in addition to actually being thicker. Alright, let's get this on wrist, and then we will check out the Lume. If you could like the video, I'd really appreciate it. It definitely helps me out. And there we go. I think it's a good looking watch. The yellow is a good looking color too. I had the GMT in hand a little while ago, and that had, I believe it's the exact same yellow dial. It's the yellow color. That was a full lume dial as well. I really like this blue though. That's a real cool color. Hopefully they'll make more watches with this blue dial. So go check out their website. I'll leave a link in the description below to their website. MMI watches. So yeah, a little bit thick, but chronographs usually are. Alright, let's check out the Lume. We'll compare it to the SKX here. Alright, so we have the MMI on the left, of course, with the full lume dial. It's extremely bright, looks very cool. I just personally prefer a dark dial with the lume, my SKX on the right here. That's cool. You can actually see the lumed crown shining off of the case on the SKX. So let me tilt this over and you can get a look at that. Definitely a cool feature there. So it'd be very cool at a bar or some kind of establishment with black light. And you can see the sub-dial hands are lumed as well. So a lot of lume on here. It is fairly quickly diminishing, but it's definitely nice and bright. I can tell the time easier with the SKX so that you don't have the lighted dial kind of washing out the lumed indices, I should say. Well, that will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time and thank you for watching.